Hi guys, Destro here, back with another action figure review. Today, taking a look at something a bit different. Gonna be taking a look at the 3-0-1/6 scale G.I. Joe Destro figure that recently released, I think pretty recently. I think I reviewed Snake Eyes, or a couple of years ago now when that figure originally came out, and I've been collecting them. I like to say I casually collect these figures, but I think at this point, they haven't made a ton, but I have every unique character they've made except for Roadblock, I think, at this point. I don't have like the exclusives, like every variant of every character, but I have every unique character they made except for Roadblock, I think, right now. It's just a really fantastic line from ThreeZero, I'm going to be honest. I think these are some of the best bang for your buck when it comes to higher end figures. They price lower than Hot Toys, or like brand new Hot Toys anyways, by a fair amount. There's reasons for that, but yeah, it's been a line I've been very impressed with. It's been hard to not buy all the figures that they've been putting out because they've just been so great. I got Destro recently. I got him at my local comic book store. I wasn't originally like really planning to get this guy, but I had store credit, so I decided to go in on him. And I'll be reviewing Cobra Commander next, who was the one I was planning to get because I was very much looking forward to that figure. But taking a look at Destro first, he is pretty cool. He looks very nice just kind of standing here. And out of all the releases so far, I think he's definitely one of the ones that stands out the most. I mean, how would he not? It's Destro. He's got the metal head and all that jazz, which I think is pretty cool. Taking a look at that metal head, you have to maybe excuse my lighting. I don't know how good it's going to be for this. But he's got a very nice silver painted head sculpt here, and I really like the expression. Looks really good. I like the angles. He's got the black eyes with the red pupils that look really cool. One kind of interesting thing is the ears are actually sculpted to be like pointy, like a goblin or something. I don't think that's accurate to the original series. Obviously, these are kind of modernized updates to their classic looks. But yeah, looks really nice though. On the neck is painted silver to, continue with the mask. One issue I do have though, and I don't know if it just came like this. I can't remember if it just came like this or it's after I've been posing the head a bit. But he's got multiple spots where the silver paint is just scuffed clean off and you see the skin tone underneath. And it looks like spots where the head sculpt would maybe rub against the neck. Again, I can't remember because I wasn't paying attention. But I'm not sure if these are new, like if they are from moving the head sculpt or not. It's not super noticeable depending on the pose I have in the head, but it is pretty disappointing that scrapes off, and like there's multiple spots where it's scraped off at. It doesn't look good, and I would imagine it might be because I think at the very least the entire body might be seamless, but at least the upper from the waist up, I believe the body is like a fully seamless body underneath the outfit. And maybe because the plastic is just a softer rubbery material, it scrapes off easier. I don't know. But yeah, that's something to watch out for. Also, this little collar piece that's supposed to be like the end of the mask, it's a separate piece, which is fine. But I would maybe kind of wish it was glued in place. When you're posing this, you want to make sure after you're posing, you adjust it so it's not like too low so you're seeing the skin tone. That'll happen a fair amount as well. So yeah, I don't know why they didn't just glue that down, but it's not a big deal. Otherwise, looks pretty good. Does have this big ol' ruby or jewel or whatever amulet necklace thing going on, which is pretty nice with a nice translucent red bit there for the jewel. The plastic for the chain is a nice soft plastic, so it gets out of it moves and doesn't hinder any articulation, and it sits really nicely down on its chest, doesn't like pop out or anything, which is cool. Torso outfit looks really nice. You do have the big collar, the classic Destro collar with the red there. It is almost like a pillowy material. Like it kind of feels like a pillow. Like he just has like an airplane like neck pillow that's built into his jacket here or whatever, which is kind of funny. But it does the job. It looks pretty good. The upper torso itself has a lot of this. I don't know what you call this, like vinyl-y, or maybe not vinyl. Just like rubbery sort of material as overlay pieces to give the upper torso more detail. It looks nice, but you may want to be careful with it when posing. Like I can already see right here, it's creased a little bit, and I haven't posed this figure that much. It's not super noticeable, but it is something that's gonna happen probably. And you maybe have to watch over time as it might damage. Now, it is similar to the Snake Eyes that they made that I do have, and I've had Snake Eyes for a couple of years now, and I posed that guy around. He's usually in a decently dynamic pose displayed. I don't display him in a museum pose, and I haven't noticed any damage to the outfit, so I'm hoping Destro will be the same way, but time will tell. But the gauntlets look really nice. The paint here is just super cool. I like the nice subtle wash on it to give it a nice realistic look, which is super cool. Got the Mars, or a Mars logo, or I assume that's a Mars logo, on his belt buckle there. And the belt looks pretty good. He's got some pouches on the back. Again, more of that weathering. The pants are a bit more of a simpler, like standard material, I guess. There's not as much of this rubbery stuff on there. There's a little bit with these line details that I think look pretty cool, but not as much threat of, you know, damage, I suppose. And we got the nice red holster there. You got some sculpted in extra magazines, or clips, sorry, for pistol. That looks really nice. And the nice just little details of silver painted buttons, you know, differentiate this from a lower end figure, I guess. And then boots also look really good. The same sort of gunmetal silver like paint with a nice wash over it. And then you also have some weathering on the actual black parts of the boots as well that look real nice. I really like the design of the boots. They look really cool. The boot and then the shin armor, they're different. This is a floating piece. They're separate, so it doesn't hinder articulation like a one piece would do. So that is pretty nice. Also, in the detail that I mentioned, the zipper on the front is not an actual functioning zipper. It is just a detail, like a design detail with the rubbery material. It's not an actual zipper. I'm okay for them doing that because I never would try to remove this anyways. And if they use a real zipper, it probably wouldn't look to scale. Usually zippers, when they do it at this scale, they look a bit too big. So I'm kind of glad they went that route with it. Yeah, he looks really nice. Definitely, I think the main highlight of the figure. He looks real good. In terms of articulation, he's decently articulated, although I would say maybe out of all the ThreeZero G.I. Joe figures I have so far, he's the most limited, because they just made some interesting, I'll say interesting, weird choices with the engineering of this figure. But it does have a dumbbell joint at the neck, and I think there's a joint inside the seamless body as well, so he does actually look up a decent amount. He also looks down quite a bit. You get good pivot as well, and rotation. Like I said, you're gonna want to be careful with the paint on the neck though. That's not so good. He does have shoulder joints. They are kind of ratcheted, so that you'll hear them click, or you might have heard them click. There is a bit of butterfly movement there, nothing too crazy. And you can rotate, and you can get the arm to go up pretty much all the way, which is nice. This almost looks like it would be, the outfit would be too restrictive, but it does let you go all the way forward, which is pretty cool. I think there's a bicep swivel, but you're only going to get a little bit of movement because of the outfit. But one thing that is a real issue with this figure is, like I said, I am pretty sure it's a seamless body, at least at the top part underneath the clothing. I don't know why they did that, because you're not going to see the arms or the joints or anything. He's wearing a fully sleeved shirt. They did the same thing with the camo Storm Shadow, which I have. The camo Storm Shadow had sleeves, but they just reused the standard Storm Shadow's seamless arms. So then, like, the seamlessness just doesn't want to bend at the elbow. So, like, you'll bend the elbow like this, and then it just wants to spring back, as you can see. And yeah, you can't get, at least on mine, I can't get the arm to go any further on the right side. Although on the left side, if I really force it, I can actually get it to stay a little more than the left side, right side, sorry. But it doesn't want, even the left side still wants to click forward more, but I can get it. But the right side just doesn't wanna, it'll just go spring back forward. So that's honestly pretty annoying. I don't know why they did design the figure that way. My only guess is they wanted to have him a bit more bulked up over the other figures, but honestly, he's really not that much bulkier compared to other characters that they made. Then you also have wrist joint. There's a swivel, and then the hinge can go in and out or up and down, however you want to, configure that joint at the wrist. Torso actually goes back a lot and actually crunches forward a decent amount too. There is twist there. You're gonna have to want to be careful with the outfit material, but it is there. The hip joints are also kind of limited because the pants are stitched in a way they're kind of tight around the groin area, so they don't really let you split all that far. And then it also feels like they put like fat suit padding underneath the legs. Again, I assume to give them some bulk, but it just ends up hindering some articulation. So like you can kind of kick it that far, but it doesn't go out as far as I'd like it to. There is a swivel there in the leg. You can rotate it actually quite a bit, but the spread is nothing to write home about. Spreads out that far. I don't really want to force it anymore because I feel like you're gonna start ripping the pants. There's a knee hinge that actually does bend pretty good. Then you can rotate the ankles. You can pivot them. I think it's a dumbbell joint down there. So they go up, they go down, they pivot, they do pretty much what you want them to. So the articulation is not like terrible or anything like that. He still poses pretty well. I don't expect Destro to be like crazy acrobatic poses anyways, but I still feel like it has more limitations than it really should have had. In terms of accessories, Destro comes with an okay amount of accessories. Again, this is another spot where I feel like maybe you could have came with a little more, I guess. But no stand. These figures don't come with stands for some reason. You get hand options though. In the package, he has the closed fists on. You also get a pair of trigger finger hands, one for each side. You get a pair of these kind of open, relaxed / open grip hands, one for each side. And you get a pair of a tighter grip hands, again, one for each side. And they're all painted and sculpted just as nicely as all the other hands. So that's really cool. You do actually get an interchangeable gauntlet piece. You can, I think, put it on either arm, but it is meant for the right side. That's where he usually always has the wrist missiles. But yeah, it's to recreate the wrist missiles. It's actually a really cool piece because they designed it so it looks like the panels open up on that wrist gauntlet to then reveal the missiles. So that's actually pretty cool. Again, painted and sculpted really well. You can't remove the missiles or anything, or I don't think you can. But it's easy to swap. You just pop the hand off, slide that off, put this one on, and then pop the hand back on. And then there you have the missiles, wrist mounted missiles. I think that looks pretty cool. I like that quite a bit. I don't know if I'll display them with this because I'm probably displaying with like a gun, but that is nice. I'm just gonna slide that back off. I will keep that hand off though, because I'm gonna use the trigger hand. But yeah, I guess he does come with a couple guns. So you do get a little handgun, or not little, just a standard handgun. Pretty nice, some decent paint on it, a little bit of weathering. It's got a little laser attachment or like flashlight on the bottom of the barrel. You can slide it back. You can also remove the magazine if it wants to come out. There we go. And you do have a little painted detail of the bullet in there, which is always super cool. You do not get any extras of the magazine, so you do want to be careful, but it does fit into the gun. It's not going to fall out. So yeah, just keep that in mind though. He can hold it. So I guess I can put it in his hand real quick with the trigger finger hands that work just as they're supposed to. Getting the hand on is a little finicky. Once you've done it a few times, it starts getting a little easier. There, put that in his hand. And there he's got the handgun. But if you don't want to use the handgun, he does have that holster that does function. You can move this little strap out of the way, slot the handgun in. Goes in very nice and securely, and then you can put that little strap over it. And there you go, handgun stored on the hip. He also comes with this like mini machine gun here, which I assume is a reference to the original toys, like a little laser gun or whatever. But it is, again, like everything, sculpted and painted real nicely. It's got a scope. I like that this scope lenses is painted in a glossier black to actually make it look like a lens. That's a nice little feature on both sides. This gun, you can also remove the magazine. You got the gun bullet detail there. This one, the magazine does come off a little easier. And again, you do not get any spares. So yeah, just be careful. And then you can also put that in his hand. And that also looks really cool. Big fan of that. I do wish he came with maybe some more guns. I don't know. He is an arms dealer. And there are some figures like from the 3 1/4 whatever where he has like a gun case and he has like a rifle that has a bunch of attachments you can put on or off and customize how you want. It would have been pretty cool if they would have done that for this figure, have like a big gun case with a rifle and have a bunch of different attachments you can have as options on the gun. I think that would have been nice, but not a big deal. But the last accessory he comes with is he does come with a suitcase, which is super cool looking. It's got that nice Cobra logo. On this side, it's got the Mars logo. I do have the hand on there, just because it is kind of annoying to get the handle actually in there. But it looks really cool. It does open. It's fully functional. Another Mars logo there. You remove this foam. And you got some weapons and stuff. You got 2 rocket pouches, 3 individual rockets, and 3 individual bombs. They're all removable. They all look real good. The bombs have, the belt actually has these tabs. There's 3, there's 2 on this side and 1 on this side. All these disc bombs actually have holes in them, so you can plug them on the belt if you want, like so. So that's something you can do. You can also hold the bombs if you want. These pouches can also be plugged on. That's my preferred way to display them. You got the pouches. So there's that. I feel like that kind of completes the look of the belt. And like I said, 3 of the missiles that are the ones that are on his wrist, that come from the wrist gauntlet. These are also removable. They're painted nicely. Pretty small, so you want to be careful not to lose them. But again, with the hand that's kind of open, a bit more relaxed, the fingers have some spaces in between them, so you can kind of wedge them between the fingers and you can hold those. So that's also a pretty cool little feature. And I'll swap the hand so you can see him holding the suitcase here. Hopefully. Like I said, the hands are a little annoying, but it's doable. There you go. I'm holding the the handle does like to come apart pretty easily. There we go. There we go. There we go. Destro there holding his suitcase. I think it would have been kind of cool if he came with maybe some stacks of cash or something. He is dealing in weapons. He's got the suitcase. It'd be cool. You maybe put the money in the suitcase on one layer. You've got the bombs and weapons and stuff on the bottom layer or something like that. Or you could have the option of having a bunch of money in the case or having the weapons in the case. That would have been cool as accessories as well. Another thing that would have been kind of cool, but they haven't been doing so far in this line, is an interchangeable head sculpt. Yeah, the head sculpt that's on there is really nice, but it would have been cool to get another expression, considering he's one of the few characters that, well, he's technically wearing a mask, but the mask shows emotion. It doesn't really make any sense to me, but it's something that happened in the show. His mouth and eyes moved and all that, so that would have been cool too, but not a big deal. That's pretty much it. I guess now I'll just do some comparisons. I guess first with some other brand / scale of Destro. Here's the G.I. Joe classified 6-inch Destro from the very first wave they ever did, which I think is still, honestly, a pretty good figure. They've never done like a whole new mold for Destro. They've only like repainted it. But yeah, this is the very first one. And definitely you can see the similarities. And I really think this ThreeZero one, especially with the accessories, is inspired a bit by the classified, mainly with the briefcase there. But you can see this one has the more like sci-fi looking laser gun that looks somewhat similar to the machine gun, but the machine gun's a bit more realistic take on that laser gun. And then here is a 3 3/4-inch Destro, which I think this was one of the Walmart exclusive retro figures from maybe a couple of years ago or something. I can't remember. But this one has the gun case that had, let's see if I can open it without, ooh. This one had the gun case, and it had all the rifle and all the attachments for the rifle in here. Like I said, it would have been cool if they did something like that for this ThreeZero figure, but again, not a big deal. And then with some other ThreeZero figures, here is Firefly, which I never did a review on. I don't know if I will bother, probably not. But it's one of my favorites of the ones they've done so far. I think they really nailed Firefly. They look really cool together. And then the figure I'll review next here is Cobra Commander. And he also looks really cool with Cobra Commander. I will say though, I do kind of wish Destro was maybe slightly taller and a little bulkier. I think what they did with the Destro with the seamless body underneath and like the padding, whatever, you know, it just ended up hindering articulation and not really achieving being much bigger than the other characters. So yeah, I think they could have made him a little bigger, but it's not like he's not too small, at least. Like, he's not tiny, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. But yeah, overall, I think this is a really cool figure. I think if you're interested in the line, I mean, if you're already collecting the line and you're interested in getting the Cobra characters, he's a must-have. He's Destro. And even if you're thinking getting into the line, not a bad one to start with. Kind of just depends on you and how much you like Destro. If you're a big Destro fan, 100% recommend. Even with its flaws, it's still super cool. And I really like Destro. He's one of my favorite Cobra characters. So there it is. But if you're not a huge Destro guy or person, and you know, it's not maybe not a must buy, or maybe I'll wait to see if you can get it cheaper. I don't know. Anyways, that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video.